Season 4 of Marvel Rivals has introduced the new hero Angela, and we also got some adjustments to existing heroes in this game as well, and we're going to go over what are the best heroes to use inside Season 4 of Marvel Rivals. We did have a full week of early access to get our hands on with the new hero and also the adjustments and changes, so that is what we're basing our judgment off of, but obviously some of these can change going on into when the update goes live. Let's get straight into it. Kicking things off, as per usual, we have the Vanguards up first, and this is the category of heroes that I play the most and have the best understanding of. And also we've got the new hero added in to the Vanguard category as well, which is obviously insane, and we needed a new Vanguard, and thank God we got one. And not to mention, the new hero's definitely shaken up a ton of things inside the meta of this game, not just for the Vanguards, but for the game as a whole, and I think that's a good addition into the game, right? But let's start off with the Hulk first. And when it comes to the Hulk, it's the hero that I played the most inside Season 3. He was great. I think he was really good inside Season 3, and his overall kit just played so well. To me personally, is the hero that I played the absolute most. Now, going into Season 4, I will be trying someone new, but regardless of that, I still think the Hulk is a really solid pick. Is he going to be as good as he was in Season 3? I don't personally think so. I think in Season 3, he was really strong because of his diving kind of playstyle, and that is still going to be very viable inside Season 4. It's just the other tanks that do it better. We're mainly talking about the new one, but he does have the new team up anchor with Black Panther, and where you see a Black Panther, you'll probably see a Hulk. And obviously where you see a Namor right now, you usually tend to see a Hulk as well. So unless he's banned for any reason, then obviously you won't see Hulk as much. But like I said, that team up with Black Panther, especially since Black Panther got a couple of nerfs, and we'll get onto him later on in this video, then the Hulk, in my opinion, is absolutely A tier. And that is just even if you're playing the Hulk by himself, he still provides an absolute ton of value if you know how to play him well. And that is the main thing about the Hulk, obviously, is that he is a little bit of a high skill player. And if you master him and you know how to use him, then you're always going to get value with this guy, regardless of which team composition you have. Next up, we've got Emma Frost, and she did get a couple of nerfs. But regardless of these nerfs, they did not change the pick rate of this hero whatsoever, man. In early access, I still seen an Emma in almost every game I played, so I still think she's going to be pretty much the meta tank, if not one of the meta tanks in this game. She's just got a well-rounded kit, and even though it did get nerfed, when you hit the shields with your primary fire, it doesn't build up the charge nearly as much, and obviously that's cool. But most people know how to play around this now, so if you hit diamond form, you can keep your charge at 100%, and people tend to know how to keep their charge on their primary fire at 100 if you know how to play this hero extremely well. Even if you know how to play this hero averagely well, she still performs really good, right? And she's got the potential to take out flying heroes, she's got the shield, she's got the diamond form to not be CC'd, she's got a lot, and she is a very versatile tank. And regardless of almost which season you play her in, she's always going to be really good. So for that reason, Emma is absolutely S tier. Not to mention her team up with Mag and Psylocke is still pretty decent, one of the best team ups in the game. We made a whole video on team ups and stuff like that and which ones are the best, so if you want to check that out, I'll leave a link down in the description. But like I said, man, Emma's just well-rounded. You're always going to see Emma still inside Season 4, so she's going to be a meta tank, so don't worry about it. Next up, we've got Strange. Now, Strange got a buff. Thank God, man, because I wanted to play some Strange. I played a little bit Strange in Season 3, but he wasn't as fun to play, right? Now he's going to output a little bit more damage with his Maelstrom, and that is what we're expecting to see now. Now, when it comes to Strange, the rest of his kit is perfect. Obviously, we've got the portal tech, we've got the shield, and everyone knows how to kind of combo his melee and all that good stuff. So Strange, solid tank. When it comes to Season 3, he's gonna be meta because we've got a lot more flying heroes now, and Strange can hover in the air, which definitely makes him not a flying hero, but it allows you to kind of combo in with some other heroes in this game, which we'll get on to talk about later in this video. But like I said, absolutely meta now that he's got a bit more damage output, and that's what we like to see, especially when it comes to Doctor Strange, especially when he got nerfed a couple of times. Actually, I mean, we kind of needed this buff. Then we've got Cap. Now, when it comes to Captain America, I really want to put him like S tier, because inside Season 3, he absolutely was S tier, man. And now he's got so much more combo potential with the new hero, which again, we'll get on to discuss in a moment. But when it comes to Captain America, the only nerf he got was to his 5% damage boost, which was the anchor bonus for the season. And that's all good and all because that didn't really make too much of a difference to his damage output, to be honest. So he could absolutely be S tier. Now, I might be jumping the gun a little bit on this one. And I would like to see a little bit more of Cap before I do make my decision on it. But I do think he's absolutely A tier, right? And he could absolutely be S tier going into season 4. In my opinion, he just could jump up pretty easily with people using him more and more now. And the fact that people are mastering him more and more obviously gets some more playtime, and then obviously they realize how good he actually is, and then the rest is history. Plus, he's got a really cool skin in the battle pass, by the way, which is absolutely insane. So we'll probably see just off the back of that alone. But like I said, man, Cap A tier, he could jump up pretty easily, in my opinion. Next up, we've got Venom, and when it comes to Venom, man, I want to really like Venom, I do. And I do think for season 4, he actually could be a really, really good tank for this game. His kind of going in and coming out ability is a little bit better than the Hulk's. And also survivability is a little bit better than the Hulk's as well, which is going to be really important for season 4, in my opinion. The only issue I have with Venom is that his damage output is just not there. And having to land critical hits just to make sure that you're getting the best damage output. Now, of course, if you're a good player, you land your headshots, then of course you can do good with Venom. But for the average player, man, are you actually going to be hitting your headshots all the time? Probably not, man, and it's very inconsistent as well. So in my opinion, when it comes to Venom, his movement tech is fantastic. Like everything but his damage output, I actually would put him A tier or above. But when it comes to the damage output, which needs to also be there as well, especially since he's only got one kind of attack essentially, I have to put him in B tier for now, right? He could turn out to be one of the best tanks in the game, but I just don't see it, especially with his damage output. Like I said, we're going to need a lot more damage output now with the amount of shields that we've got in this game, so that's my take on it. Next up, we've got the new hero, we've got Angela. Now, when it comes to Angela, I actually think she's going to be crazy good. Now, she doesn't need to be absolutely broken to make her good, because the way she plays is so different to every other tank in this game. It's absolutely ridiculous, right? So she can fly, first of all, which is obviously a given. We already know that. But the other thing is that she plays so similar to Wolverine compared to any other hero in this game, which you probably wouldn't expect, right? And she just does really well as a kidnapping tank. So she's got the survivability, she's got the extra HP, she's got the shield, she's got the diving mechanics as well, she's got the brawling mechanics. Is she the best at brawling? Not really. But if you know how to use her abilities correctly and combine them together, then she can brawl relatively well. And then what we're going to be able to do is kidnap like supports super easily, fly to the enemy's backline, just pick up a Luna Snow and just take her to our backline, destroy her, move on, right? That is the whole plan with Angela's playstyle. Angela is a really solid and fun tank to play. She's going to shake up the meta an absolute ton. Her combo potential I do want to touch on as well, by the way, and we've made a couple of guides already on Angela, so you can check that out at the end of this one. Her combo potential is absolutely insane. Her ultimate's so good to combo off the back of. It's almost like a Groot ult, but even better in my opinion. And also her ability where she slams the ground, it's just going to allow for your teammates to kind of jump on the back of that and combo in extra abilities on top of it. And I think that's just what makes her super, super good. Her survivability is pretty decent, and obviously she's going to be able to take out enemy flyers as well with relative ease, to be honest with you. So Angela, man, definitely S tier for now. I think she could drop down to A once people know how to deal with her. And it's going to take a little bit of time for people to actually understand how to deal with her, to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie. We'll go on to talk about who can kind of counter Angela in this video, and Doctor Strange is one of them, by the way. But next up, we've got Thor, and if you didn't know, Thor is Angela's brother, and that's why they have a team up. And the team up for Thor is crazy good, man. It just gives him way more combo potential, not just with Angela, but just in general. He's able to get into fights a little bit faster than you usually would, because his dash is not that quick compared to what he's able to jump on top of with like this new team up spear. And he's also able to escape situations with it as well. Probably not the best way to use it, but regardless, you can use it to escape as well if you really want to. So you're able to dash in, kind of combo with brawl with your teammates, and then leave pretty easily, and then continue doing your usual stuff with Thor. And his survivability is pretty decent as well, and the fact that Angela can brawl to some extent means Thor can kind of combo off the back of that as well. Do I think he's going to be one of the best tanks in the game? Probably not, but he's definitely going to be up there, and a lot of high ranks been seeing a lot more Thor as well, especially inside season 3, and I don't think that's going to change too much because he's only just got a buff. Then he also got a buff to his ultimate where he can move faster, and it also slows on impact, which I think is going to be incredibly useful against movement based heroes, and obviously probably the new hero as well when we get Daredevil in the game. But like I said, right now Thor, in my personal opinion, is between A and B tier. He's really solid. I actually think he's slightly better than Venom, so I'm going to put him in A tier for now. Might be a bit too early to call that one, but I do think Thor is still a pretty solid tank in this game, and the team up has only made him that a little bit better. Next up, we've got the Thing, and when it comes to the Thing, I think he's always going to be up in the meta, right? Just because of the fact he can't be CC'd is definitely going to always leave him somewhere at the top. Just because of the fact, like I said, he can't be CC'd, he's good against flying heroes, there's a lot more flying heroes now as well. Angela could get banned because she's the new hero, so there's a lot of stuff going on that makes the Thing a really solid pick, and that is why I still think he's going to be absolutely A tier. He could also frontline to backline really quickly. He can also kind of anti-dive as well with his slam ability. So overall, his team up as well with the Human Torch is actually really good too, by the way. I just want to throw that in there. But like I said, overall, he plays kind of similar to the Hulk, but he's just a little bit easier to use, and also his survivability is a little bit higher as well. And obviously, he's a brawl tank, so you can combo him super well with Angela, by the way. Like, that combo right there is crazy. The Captain America Angela combo is like a backline dive combo, and then the combo with the Thing and Angela is like a brawl combo where you both kind of slam the ground, stop the enemy from moving, and then just keep attacking them until they're dead, right? That's kind of the whole point of that combination right there. Then we have Groot. Now, when it comes to Groot, his team up with the Mantis and Loki is so good, man. It's one of the best team ups in the game, if not probably like the best team up in the game. But the only issue is Mantis is not that strong. She's a little bit better than before, but then Loki keeps getting nerfed and nerfed as well, which is a bit of an issue as well. But when it comes to Groot, man, by himself, he's really strong, so I have to put him at least in A tier. Is he as good as some of the tanks above him? I don't personally think so. But with that team up, he definitely bumps up. I think with the team up, he's S tier. Without the team up, he's A tier. That's just the way I see him right now. And he's always a solid pick. He's another wall tank, so obviously he's going to be kind of in the mix most of the time as well, because he kind of has to be. But for the most part, man, Groot, definitely a solid pick. Obviously, the combo potential of his ultimate is pretty good too, so we can't really go wrong with him. Next up, we've got Penny Parker, probably the worst tank in the game in my opinion. Even though she got a buff to her ultimate, it does deal a little bit more damage now because the mines come out a little bit quicker. It's not the mines, it's the spider nest or whatever they call it. I don't really know exactly what they call it, but it does deal a little bit more damage. We've seen before and afters. And also it slows a little bit better as well now. So you're going to get a couple more picks with your ultimate, but it's still not going to make her super strong. She's still a defensive tank. She's still only good in the niches that she's good in the first place. So for that reason, I'm going to put Penny Parker in C tier. Is she trash? No, I don't think she's a trash hero by any means, actually. And obviously, there's a lot of Penny Parker players out there that will absolutely destroy me in any game. But I think for the most part, for most players, they're only going to see the value in Penny in defensive maps and defensive sides of a ranked game. Lastly, we've got my favorite tank in the game, and that is Mag. Mag is great in this game, to be honest. He doesn't really drop down all that often. He did get a slight nerf in this season 3.5 updates where his shield bubble doesn't have as much HP, but regardless of that, he's still pretty strong. He still has tons of survivability, and obviously that's what makes him great, because he has tons of survivability. And also he is a wall tank, so any wall tanks are always going to be up there in terms of the meta and being the best tanks in the game. But his ultimate's also really good too, and the combo potential with Angela with the ultimate, the combo potential with some of the other heroes as well in the ultimate, and just the fact that it can be used as a defensive ultimate, offensive ultimate, and then also he just blocks tons and tons of damage. Mag is obviously S tier, man. He's not really been adjusted too much. His team up's really good as well. So overall, Mag is S tier, and that is the Vanguards. Next up, we've got the Strategists, and when it comes to the Strategists, I feel like when we added an Ultron, we're getting a bit more exciting, and then it kind of took a complete nosedive right after that, right? We just started getting random strategist nerfs and changes, and it all ended up a bit strange in my opinion. But at the moment, we kind of know who's the best strategist, right? And it's quite obvious when it comes to the buffs and the nerfs and who they're buffing and who they're nerfing. It's pretty obvious, but we'll get through it anyway. And we're starting off with Jeff here, and the way I want to see Jeff is he is the hero that you pick up when you're struggling playing support right now. That's the way I see him. His radius of healing is just crazy good. They buffed his ultimate so that you get a pool left behind to stand in. It heals you up. The healing potential on it's not great, but it's better than nothing than what we had before. It also essentially buffs his team up with Storm as well, so I suppose that's a good thing. And also, he's just a really easy support to use, to be honest, if you don't master him fully. Now, if you mastered him, then you could survive tons with Jeff, and obviously that's one of the best things about him. His survivability is actually kind of through the roof still, especially compared to a lot of the other supports in this game. So I do think Jeff is really solid. If you know how to master him, he can be a lot better than what most people actually think of this hero. I'm going to put him in B tier because I don't think he's the best support, and I don't think he's absolutely crazy meta or anything, but if he's in your team, you're not going to be upset by it. Next up, we've got Luna, and when it comes to Luna, she did get a slight nerf to her ultimate, and we all made a joke thinking that they're going to nerf the ultimate from 12 seconds down to 11 seconds, but they beat us, right? They nerfed it down to 10 seconds, and it's still a pretty strong ultimate at the end of the day. So when it comes to Luna, man, I don't really think they're ever really going to nerf this hero that much. She kind of is a relatively high skill hero to some extent, to be honest with you. Obviously, you do need to aim pretty well to land those healings. But I think the ultimate is what makes her broken, right? And that is why Luna obviously always gets put in S tier, and I don't think that's really going to change for Season 4. Like, they want her to be a S tier hero, therefore they're going to keep making her an S tier hero. Regardless of how many nerfs we want Luna to have, she's still going to be up there, right? And there's not really too much to say because the only thing they really nerfed, like I said, was the timing on her ultimate, and that is pretty much it. So, like I said, Luna by herself is still a really solid support, man. She's going to be probably the highest picked again, and then it's not really going to change too much in terms of the strategist meta. Next up, we've got Loki, and my issue with Loki is he just keeps taking nerf after nerf, man. And this is not just for the Season 4 update. This has been going back for a couple of updates now, up until the point which he's at now. I just think he's in a relatively bad spot according to kind of Loki's status, because Loki was one of the best supports in the game for a long time. And I think inside Season 4, he's still going to be okay. He's not going to be terrible, right? And you can still double combo the Luna ults if you really want to, and do all that crazy stuff. So, I mean, he's still going to get picked a good amount, especially in the high ranked games. His output for damage now is not the best, and his output for healing now is also not the best, right? And I think in general, even though he still will get played quite a lot, in my opinion, I just don't think he's nearly as good as he was before, and it's just because of the constant nerfs he keeps getting. So in my opinion, he's going to be an A tier, right? But we'll still see him a lot because there's not a lot of strategies to pick from, and that is where the issue kind of comes in, right? I think Loki's not the best, but because we don't have tons of strategies to choose from that are pretty strong at healing output, we're going to see him anyway, right? So that is kind of where the meta is sitting with Loki at the moment. Then we have Mantis up next, and I actually really want to like Mantis because the damage output that she has in general, just with herself and dealing damage, and then also the damage boosting, which I think is actually so underrated in this game. I think damage boosting is one of the best things you can do to make sure you win team fights other than just healing your team, and it allows you to wipe the enemy team so much quicker. Mantis is a really strong pick. Now, because her healing output is still not the greatest, she did get a slight movement buff, which is, again, not going to change too much with this hero. But our team up with Groot and Loki is actually pretty decent, to be honest with you. So if you do see a Groot and a Loki in your team comp, then maybe try picking Mantis to allow them to have that extra damage buff with the Loki lamps and then the healing buff with the Groot. I mean, that's going to help you a ton. So it will allow you to win games. That team up is insanely good, by the way. But Mantis by herself, in my opinion, kind of sits at the same as Jeff, right? She's got good value at some points. A little bit harder to use than Jeff, but she's a good DPS kind of hero. So if you want to use her as a DPS, then she works well there. She's got the damage boosting, and she's got some kind of healing as well. Plus her ultimate is a support ult anyway, so it is a good ultimate to use. So I can't put her any lower than B tier, just because all round, she's actually an okay hero to use. Then we've got Rocket, and Rocket, in my opinion, it's actually kind of dropped down further and further. I just think Rocket's not as good as he used to be, like, at all. His healing output is not great, and just like the fact that his damage output is also not great as well now. I actually think Rocket needs a buff to his minigun, if I'm being honest with you. That is the way I see Rocket at the moment. His damage output is okay, so maybe they should just up the bullet velocity of it or something. I think that'd be a good spot, or maybe make sure it doesn't have as much weapon bloom. That could help him out a lot. But Rocket is really missing something now, and with the new heroes, especially Angela, I think Rocket's going to get absolutely wrecked. Like, I mean wrecked inside Season 4 of Marvel Rivals, man. Like, Rocket is probably the #1 hero I killed the most when I played Angela. So, I mean, Rocket's going to get wrecked, man. So, in my opinion, Rocket, he does have some value to the easier people that want to pick him up and play him. Obviously, you can just spam out the heals, just sit miles away, but that's not really going to work inside Season 4 now, especially with Angela in this game. So I think you could still get some kind of value from him. So I'm going to put him in C tier. I don't think he's absolutely trash because he does provide healing and damage. So I'm going to put him in C tier. His ultimate's pretty good too still. Next up, we've got Ultron, and in my opinion, for Season 4, Ultron's going to be really good, man. Now, is he the best support in the game when it comes to healing output? Obviously not. But the fact that he outputs tons of damage, and he's got a lot of good movement tech, and he does combo relatively well with some of the newer heroes like Angela, like I mentioned. And people are learning to use him a little bit more conservatively now. And that's what's good about Ultron. You can play him aggressive, you can play him conservative, and he kind of plays well in both of those if you know how to play with the black of your other heroes. And like I said, his support ult is pretty decent too if you know how to use it well enough. And his team up with Iron Man is actually really, really good, man. So I think Ultron, in my opinion, is A tier. And you're going to be surprised at the fact that the damage output he needs is almost the perfect counter for killing Angela, in my opinion. He's not the perfect counter, but he's almost the perfect counter as a support hero. So in my opinion, Ultron, absolutely A tier, man. He's a really, really good pick for support. Better than a lot of the options that we have at the moment, to be honest with you. A lot of the options we have right now are boring. So Ultron is definitely up there. Then we have Invisible Woman. We'll be seeing a lot more of Invisible Woman because her ultimate did get buffed. The healing output of the ultimate got buffed, and also it slows inside the ultimate now, which we all kind of expected to happen anyway. But now obviously we're getting that, so we will be seeing a lot more of Invisible Woman. And the fact that we've got a new flyer as a tank, and Invisible Woman helps heal Angela like the best, by the way. She's probably one of the best at healing Angela in general. Invis is going to be absolutely S tier for Season 4, and that's without a doubt, man. We're going to be seeing a lot more Invisible Women, and it's back to the Luna Snow Invisible Woman meta, right? That is what we're going to be seeing in terms of the supports in this game. There's not really too much to say about Invis because she's pretty boring for the most part, and obviously all of her CC abilities work on Angela anyway. So you can push and pull her, you can drag her to the ground with a bubble. So there's a lot you've got going on there. She's good at healing flyers, but also countering flyers too. And we're going to be seeing a lot more of that inside Season 4 anyway. Next up, we've got Cloak and Dagger, and is Cloak and Dagger one of the easiest heroes to play in this game? Yes. And is she one of the best supports in this game? Also yes, right? And if you know how to use her ultimate without getting countered by maybe a Punisher, by a Magneto, and then overall you know when to switch from Cloak and Dagger, by the way, that is pretty much the discerning difference between a good Cloak and Dagger player and a bad one. Then you're going to do really well with this hero. And the good thing is that she can heal up flyers relatively well, not quite as good as Luna if you're landing your shots, or Invis if you've got the shield up, but you can still do it with relative ease, which is obviously good. And that is what makes Cloak and Dagger really good, right? You want to not get hit when you're doing your ultimate, which is obviously going to be very useful. And then you need to know when to switch because Cloak does tons of damage to diving heroes, and we're going to be seeing a lot more of that. And like I said, man, Cloak and Dagger is just a really solid pick for Season 4. She was really solid inside Season 3, and I think she was probably one of the meta supports. And it's going to be the same again inside Season 4 as well. I don't see many changes to that one. Next up, we've got Adam, and maybe we should have been first with Adam since he's in alphabetical order, but regardless, we're going to go with Adam next. And Adam is okay, right? You can land your shots, you get a little bit more healing. Some scenarios he's pretty decent. When you've got Soul Bond, he is really good, but you don't get Soul Bond all that often, right? And hitting your shots is easier also said than done. and he is a lot better than he was before in my opinion. It's just that, again, he's a very kind of niche scenario support. Maybe in a triple support he works relatively well. He has no movement escape tools, and against Angela, man, you're done for. So I mean, that's the only issue with Adam Warlock. So we're gonna need to see where he kind of sits, but in my opinion, I think Adam kind of sits next to Rocket a little bit, right? You're gonna get flanked a ton, you're gonna get dived on a ton, and unless you have soul bond like all the time, yeah, man, you're kind of screwed with Adam, to be honest, until he gets a buff. So, like I said, Adam's in C tier in my opinion. Next up, we've got the Dualist heroes, and this is where the majority of the heroes actually sit inside this game, and that's kind of got to keep going, providing we keep getting one Dualist every single season, at least anyway, because sometimes we get two, and that is going to just build this up crazy amounts, and people just want like a one Vanguard and support season. But regardless, we'll move on from that, and we'll start off with Black Panther first. And boy, did they destroy our guy. They destroyed our boy, man, and I don't even know what we're doing about this. So when it comes to Black Panther, he got nerfed to Spirit Rend, and that was last season. This season he got nerfed to survivability, and that's his overall HP. And he's now got a shield bubble with the Hulk, which again is not even as good as the team up he had with Magic, to be honest with you, because you don't get to choose when you activate it, and I think that's the most important part. And this overall is not going to be great, right? Black Panther is a fun hero to play, and I only liked playing him for fun. I'm not the best Black Panther player, but I do play him in quick play, and if they're going to start taking away the fun from him, then I think it's going to be a bit of an issue. But right now he's still playable, to be honest. He's not great, but he's playable, right? And people will obviously do well with him. Anyone who mains this hero and plays day in day out Black Panther and all the combos and stuff, then cool. But right now, man, his survivability is not great, and that's kind of the issue as well. And then his Spirit Rend's not as forgiving now, so keep that in mind when obviously we're judging this Black Panther and where we should put him on the list. Is he still going to get played a ton? Yes, because it's BP, man. Always people are going to play him anyway, right? So it doesn't really matter too much. And I still think he adds some value to a team, right? I just don't think he's completely trash. I'd want to put him in C tier, to be honest. I think that's where he sits. I don't think he's any better than that. I think it's a dive hero. There's better options. And BP is just C tier. That's where I want to put him. I think that's a fair place to put him. I don't think he should go any higher. Next up, we've got Black Widow. When it comes to Black Widow, she's in a weird spot, kind of. She always is in a weird spot, to be honest. Between C and D tier is where I like to put her, and it just depends on what season we have is where I put her between those two. And she's good against flyers, to be honest, but she won't be good against Angela, because Angela can fly so fast, and also she has a shield, right? So good luck hitting Angela with your shots. You might land some, but you won't really get any kills though, so I mean, it doesn't really matter too much. She's okay, to be honest. Like, you can do well with her. There's a couple, like 2 Black Widow players out there that are insanely good, and the rest are just not so good, right? So for the most part, Black Widow, in my opinion, is going in D tier. We won't see her all that much, in my opinion, either. So just in general, Black Widow is just in D tier. Can you do well with her if you play her a lot? Then yes, but man, I don't think she's going to be all that popular. Then we've got Hawkeye. Now, Hawkeye has tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of carry potential, and we all know that already anyway. But you need to land your shots, right? So you need to be a really good Hawkeye player to get the max potential out of him. And again, hitting shots on Angela, good luck with that inside season 4, by the way. Obviously, there'll be a guy out there that's cracked out his nut that's going to be hitting headshots on Angela regardless, but that's not the majority of the player base. So for the most part, I do think Hawkeye has really good carry potential against pretty much any other flyer than Angela, to be honest. And he's absolutely an A tier in my opinion. His carry potential is good if you know how to use him really well, and he does add tons of value to any team comp, but he's not got the versatility there to be an S tier in my opinion. I don't think he ever will, unless they change his kit to some extent or he gets a really crazy team up. Then we've got Hela, and in my opinion, everyone's saying Hela's dropped down, she's not going to be crazy good, but let's be honest, man, Hela's one of the best at taking out flyers in this game, and she's probably going to be one of the best at taking out Angela in this game. And that's just because you've got tons of shots, she does loads of damage, her ultimate's pretty strong too. Her ultimate rips through Angela's shield as well, by the way, Angela cannot counter her ultimate as well. So there's so much to it. And by the way, we made a whole ultimate counter video with Angela, so you can check that out at the end of this one. And Hela is just going to be super strong. Now, if you did not know, by the way, there's a leak out there somewhere. And the leak shows that Hela and Namor are going to get a team up where they're going to get squids when Hela kills an enemy or when Namor kills an enemy. And those squids cannot be destroyed, by the way. So that, and I'm going to kind of prejudge this one as well. I think Hela's going to be S tier again, to be honest. Like, Hela's going to be up there. She's just too strong to not be up there. She does a lot of damage to even grounded heroes. And just overall, she's a really strong pick. Then we've got Iron Fist, and believe it or not, by the way, Iron Fist kills tanks faster than Wolverine does. But regardless of that, he just does not have the kidnap potential. Against other heroes, he's not fantastic right now, to be honest with you. And his team up with Luna and Hawkeye is okay. It actually provides some kind of value. But for the most part, I just don't think he's a great hero, right? I just don't think he's fantastic. And that kind of sits in the same category as Black Widow, in my opinion. Black Panther will just see more play in general because he's BP and he's fun to play. Iron Fist is kind of useful, but again, I just don't think he's going to get seen a lot, and I just don't think he has that value there for season 4. I just don't see it, man. I really don't. Anyone who mains this hero, fair enough, man, all power to you, but I just don't see him being really popular in season 4. Next up, we've got Iron Man, and Iron Man's always in the mix, man. He's always a really good pick, pretty much all the time, to be honest with you, especially with that Ultron team up. It's almost a no-brainer sometimes to go Iron Man. His splash damage potential, just overall, the Unibeam, everything like that. He's just so good. Well-rounded hero, by the way. I kind of miss playing Iron Man. I've not played him in a while, so Iron Man, in my opinion, is absolutely A tier. His ultimate's also really strong too. I mean, he can be countered a lot easier now, to be fair, so that's one thing I do want to mention. But regardless of his ultimate, he's still a really solid pick. And he just provides so much damage kind of in a large area that he's just super useful. He's like the Squirrel Girl for skill players, basically, right? So Iron Man, absolutely A tier. Is he as good as the heroes above him? I don't think so. But he provides a lot of really good value to any team comp, and like I said, that team up goes crazy too. Next up, we've got Magic. Magic never really got a buff, man, so anyone who's talking about Magic got a buff. She never got a buff. She got a slight buff, and that's just because her blade can now go through enemies, the one that she throws. But everything else was just to line up her damage profile back to what it was in the previous season, because she got her anchor removed, right? So just keep that in mind. Her damage output is in some cases worse than what she had last season. So Magic in general, I actually think she's going to be good this season though. That's the crazy thing. I was saying it like a negative thing, but I actually think Magic's going to be pretty good inside season 4. So in my opinion, Magic kind of similar to Venom in a way, because you can get in and out super easy. I think she's actually going to be really solid. I made that sound really bad, but I actually think she's going to be good. Actually going to be like absolutely one of the best dive heroes in the game or anything like that. I don't think so. I think she provides more value than BP right now though. So in my opinion, Magic is in B tier. Our team up actually is really good too. And I think that's what's kind of boosting her up a little bit. Before, in previous seasons, I always didn't know how and where to place Magic, but I actually think she's actually got a really good spot in this game right now. Comboing her with Angela as well, by the way, it actually works super well. You won't actually believe how good that combo is. It's pretty decent. So, like I said, Magic, B tier for me. Probably could rise up to A tier, to be honest with you, depending on how the season goes. But for the most part, man, I actually think she's pretty strong. Then we've got Moon Knight. And Moon Knight actually got a buff, so he's got 2 moon blades now, so that definitely helps him out a little bit. Not a change that I thought I would have seen, but it is a good change for him nonetheless. And I don't think it's going to change how people play him, and he does have some value because he's kind of aim lock and auto lock against a big group of enemies, but obviously there's other heroes that do this a little bit better in my opinion. Does he provide decent value? He's not too bad inside season 4, to be honest, right? He's not too bad, and that's all I've got to say. His ultimate's also really decent, so that is where kind of Moon Knight comes in. He's in a weird spot where if you break his unks, you're kind of screwed, But if you have your unks and you have your ultimate, then you're in a good spot, right? And that is why Moon Knight is in C tier. He does provide a decent amount of value to large groups of enemies as well, so I do want to mention that, especially with, like I said, his ultimate. Next up, we've got Namor, and when it comes to Namor, is he as good as previous seasons? I don't think so, and this is mainly like Season 1, Season 2 I'm talking about. Inside Season 3, he's relatively decent, and he's going to kind of be very similar to Season 3, essentially. Namor doesn't really get played all that much from what I've seen more recently, but he is a pretty solid hero still. Obviously, when you see Dive in the enemy team, you see a Namor in the opposite team, so that's one thing I do want to mention. People know how to play against him a little bit better now as well. People shoot down the squids more often. So if you land your shots, you're a good Namor player, then obviously you get good value. In general, is he a good hero just overall? He is. He's definitely A tier in my opinion. I don't think he's really going to drop any further down from that because he's a projectile based hero. You could do damage at range. Obviously he's got a couple of damage combos as well. But overall, he's pretty solid, and he's got that team up with Hulk as well. That makes him a lot better if you use it. Then we have Psylocke, and Psylocke got a slight nerf to her combo. It's a bit annoying in my opinion because I started to play Psylocke a little bit in Season 3. I enjoyed her a little bit, and nerfing that combo I think is going to be a relatively big one, because that is her main source of damage output, right? And obviously you can cool it down a bit quicker if you hit your primary fire shots more, so you can get it relatively quickly, but that's not the point, right? The damage output I think was actually respectable, and especially against heroes like Angela, where they've got more shield heroes in the game than ever now. I think Psylocke's gonna kind of feel the effects of that to some extent, but she's still a great flanking hero in my opinion. I still think she's pretty good. People will still do well with her regardless. I do think she's going to be in B tier. She's slightly better than Magic in my opinion. Is she as good as some of the other heroes above? She could jump into A tier in my opinion. It just depends on how the season goes. I don't want to predict this one too early though, so when it comes to Psylocke, I just think she's in B tier for now. Scarlet Witch in Season 4 is so broken. Like, I just don't understand what they've done. I don't know if it's just the way the meta is going right now or what. But her ultimate obviously is a little bit better, but you can still counter it like we could have done before anyway. It does suck enemies in, and it does deal a lot more damage now, so it's essentially going to guarantee kills regardless of what HP you're on. But it still can be blocked by shields, so just remember that. But overall, just with the aim lock and her combo potential and the fact that she can be healed now through her phase ability, yeah, Scarlet Witch is going to be kind of good, right? I mean kind of good. She's going to be really good. Plus she's like super easy to use. Like, that's one thing I do want to mention. Like, very easy, but then to master all the abilities together, it takes a bit of time, but it doesn't take that much time. So I think Scarlet Witch is going to be A tier. I think she's going to be great. She could potentially bump up to S tier. The only thing is that our ultimate can be kind of cancelled so easily that you don't get to use it all that much. So that's why I'm dropping her down to A tier. But in general, man, I actually think she's going to be one of the best heroes in the game for Season 4. Especially against Angela, because that is going to be basically auto aim lock, easy kills. She's flying around, you don't need to track it, right? So that's why Scarlet Witch is going to be really good. Spider-Man's up next, and Spider-Man, in my opinion, is in a weird spot for Season 4. I kind of don't know how to judge this one, to be honest with you. Last season, it was pretty obvious Spider-Man was pretty good. I still think he's good. I still think he's got his place, and I still think people can do really well with Spider-Man if you know how to use him really well. And again, he's going to be a little bit better than Black Panther in my opinion. He's just got a lot more movement tech, although now you've got a counter with Angela that can kind of hold you in place if she does manage to get her ultimate off on you. But again, that is all kind of depending on the situation, how good players are, right? But for the most part, in my opinion, I think Spider-Man kind of sits in the same area as BP right now. He could go up a little bit, in my opinion, maybe into B tier. But if you do well with Spider-Man, you're going to do well with him anyway. But for the most part, to get tons of value at Spider-Man, I think trying to track all these flyers now is going to be a bit difficult. And also just with the amount of shields in this game now, Hitting your kind of sticky web and trying to pull people off the map is going to be a lot more difficult. Next up, we've got Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl got a nerf to her overall damage output. Regardless of that, though, I still think she's going to get picked quite a lot, to be honest, even from the kind of higher level of play, because she's one of the only heroes that does what she does, and that is just like splash damage, right? And that's with her primary fire. Now, in low rank, she's obviously going to get picked anyway. I don't think it's going to make a difference at all, to be honest with you. Our Mammal Bond also got nerfed too, in terms of the cooldown for that, so our survivability is not going to be as good. So just keep that in mind. But for the most part, she still provides good value, right? And I think she's going to be B tier. She's not going to be any higher than that because the survivability's been tanked a ton. So you can't double like tail bounce anymore. I think that was one of the best things you could do with Squirrel Girl, in my opinion. And I've played a pretty decent amount. But her damage output is still going to be good. And overall, she's still pretty solid with the team up with Iron Man. So she's not bad. It's just she's not going to be as good as what she was before. Next up, we've got Star-Lord, and Star-Lord is actually a good hero in my opinion. Is he going to be super meta? I don't think so. He could actually bump up in my opinion as the season progresses, but I don't want to judge this too soon because I've not seen too much of Star-Lord, if I'm being honest with you. His ultimate's really good to combo with Angela, Groot, or even Strange, so that's what's really cool about him. His portal that he gets with his team up's really good as well. You can silent ult with that thing too. And overall, he outputs a decent amount of damage. I think when it comes to Star-Lord, he's in the same kind of spot as Squirrel Girl, Psylocke. You can kind of use him for most things, and he's going to do relatively well, right? And I think that's where Star-Lord sits right now. Could he bump up later on in the season? I don't really see it, but he could. He could be a little bit better than what he is right now. But there's a lot of shields in this game now, with Captain America, with Angela, with Strange, Mag, Emma, even the one that Invisible Woman has as well. So trying to burst those down as well is a bit annoying. So in general, I feel like Star-Lord's in a kind of okay spot. He's not fantastic, but you can obviously do well with him regardless. Storm, though, is in a really weird spot, in my opinion, because Storm is a flying hero, but she's not one of the better ones. And even if you come up against Angela, if you come up against an Ultron, if you come up against an Iron Man, you're pretty much going to lose most of those fights, which is so strange, in my opinion. I think Storm's probably the worst flying hero in the game. I think she maybe needs a buff. I'm not really too sure. But for the most part, even though she provides a damage boost, which I think is so valuable, it's just not good enough to pick this hero. And the only good thing about her is her ultimate, to be honest, right? And the ultimate is she combos with Jeff. But I've not seen too much of Storm anyway, so I'm going to put Storm right next to Black Widow and Iron Fist. They do have value. She's not completely trash, but she's not a hero I would pick, I'll be honest. Then we've got Punisher. In my opinion, man, Punisher should sit in A tier like 90% of all the time, because he just provides that sustained damage pressure all the time to the enemy team, always shooting bullets, always dealing damage, always breaking shields. And I love Punisher, man. I actually think he's so fun to play as well. He might sound like the most boring hero, but he's actually not the most boring hero in this game, which is surprising, by the way. But his ultimate can counter Cloak and Dagger, his shotgun, sorry, can counter Cloak and Dagger. Firing his weapon, you can take out flyers super easily. You've got his turret as well, which deals tons of damage. And his ultimate's actually really good too. Just sustain damage to Emma's, which in diamond form, this is the way to destroy an Emma. To take out even Angela as well. Now, this could be a really good strat too. So I think Punisher's actually, if I want to be honest, this is maybe like a hot take or whatever, I don't know, but I'm going to put Punisher in S tier, man. I actually think he's great. I think Punisher's so good inside Marvel Rivals, especially Season 4, but I think even in Season 3 he was really good too. Next up, we've got Winter Soldier, and Winter Soldier's in a really good spot. You got a slight buff to his uppercut where he can stun enemies now as well. So if you're coming up against some movement-based heroes, then you can easily stun them in the place, and then you can hook them, or you can shoot them, or whatever you want to do. So overall, Winter Soldier, if you've got a good Winter Soldier on your team, he's very versatile, could take out flyers to some extent, can kind of brawl with the tanks to some extent, and just overall, he's really solid, right? I think Winter Soldier's in a really, really good spot as a DPS hero. He's not super fantastic, but he definitely provides really good value, and overall, he's just a really good DPS in my opinion. So in my opinion, he goes in A tier. I don't think he's S tier because I just don't think he's that good. But A tier is a good spot for Winter Soldier. Then we've got Wolverine, and when it comes to Wolverine, man, you kind of have to put Wolverine higher up on this list because he's the only kind of guy that does what he does and does it really well, and that is busting up the tanks, right? So if you're an Emma, if you're a Strange, if you're a Mag, if you're a Hulk, not Thing and not Angela, the only two heroes that are exempt from this list because you can't get grabbed and kidnapped. Well, Angela kind of can if you catch her in the right time, but for the most part, those are the only two tanks you can't really come up against. But other than that, man, Wolverines are super good, and some really good Wolverine player will be able to capture an Angela out the sky, but we'll wait until we see that one, right? Because I'm sure we'll see a TikTok play of that at some point. So I'm going to put Wolverine in S tier because that's where he goes, and to be honest, inside Season 4, I think it's going to be pretty much more of the same. Next up, we've got Blade. Blade is in a pretty decent spot right now, in my opinion. He got buffed with the Season 4 update, so he's got 2 more damage to his sword strikes. That's going to help him a ton when he's doing the super fast combo strikes. At range, he's okay, and he does provide that kind of anti-heal effect as well. So that's one thing I do want to mention with his ultimate and his shotgun. Overall, is he one of the best DPS in the game? I don't think so, but he is quite versatile, and versatility is always really good with these kind of heroes, and that's why he's going to probably see a little bit more play. He's good against tanks, he's good against DPS, and that's why I'm going to put him in A tier for now, right? I think he could drop down. We might see him a little bit less inside Season 4 because he's no longer the new hero. But for now, I think he's just as versatile as Winter Soldier, and he kind of sits in that category for me where he kind of brawls with the tanks, he kind of shoots at range, he can do a little bit of everything. Next up, we've got Mr. Fantastic, and Mr. Fantastic is actually not too bad, to be honest. Like, he's actually not bad. I don't like the way he plays, I'll be honest with you. I'm not a massive fan of the playstyle of Mr. Fantastic, but I actually think he has some good value right now. He's a really good hero to play. He's good against flying heroes, he's good against grounded heroes, he can brawl with the rest of them. If you know how to use them well, then you can pick people out the sky and kind of stop them moving around too much. And against Angela, he's going to be good, man, right? He's going to be decent. If you grapple onto Angela, you stop her from flying around. And that's why I think Mr. Fantastic goes in B tier. He is pretty good against flyers if they're within the range, obviously. And he's okay at brawling for the most part. I just don't think he's as good or even as versatile as some of the heroes above him. I think they provide a lot more value. His ultimate's not great either. I do want to mention that too. You could pretty much get killed out of your ultimate if people focus you as well. So that's another thing. Next up, we've got Phoenix, and when it comes to Phoenix, she's still pretty solid. She never got any nerfs, which is weird because we expected to see some probably. Her ultimate is still not easy to counter at all with any of the heroes in this game. If you hit your shots with her, obviously, which is the only thing you kind of need to learn, and then also how to fly away. If you're doing that, then she's just as strong as Hela essentially, but she does provide that AoE damage as well. So maybe she's slightly better than Hela in some scenarios. But for the most part, man, Phoenix is a really, really strong hero. And I think she's going to be absolutely S tier for Season 4 as well. And she's just super versatile at taking out multiple different types of heroes. You can take out the flying heroes as well if you do land your shots well. Might not be easy to do it, but you can definitely get it done. And last but not least, we have Torch. Now, for every single season since Torch has been in this game, I've hated on this guy. I've never put him in S tier. And I've maybe agreed that he was a good hero, but I've never wanted to put him in S tier, right? But I actually think Season 4 for Torch is going to be his season, right? I think he's going to be the guy. Now, he counters Angela so well. And obviously, Angela's going to get a lot of play. Obviously, she's the new hero. So in the air, Torch, his shotgun spread blast does tons of damage to other flyers, right? He's one of the best at taking out flyers when he's a flyer himself. And then also on the ground, if Angela puts down any of her abilities, then he can easily ring it off with his kind of wall ability that he has, which I think is a crazy good counter, by the way. So overall, I think Human Torch is just a really good counter for Angela. And also, I think he's just going to be a really good combo with Angela as well, by the way. So if you want to play it the opposite way around, he'll be really good too. So we have to put him in S tier, of course, and it's quite surprising that he never actually got nerfed with the Season 4 update, to be honest with you, because people were playing him still quite a lot in high ranked. inside season 3. So I don't really know where he kind of didn't get nerfed from, but regardless of that, he's still pretty solid. I think he's going to be one of the meta heroes for season 4, especially to counter Angela for the first half of the season at least. So there we have it. Those are all the heroes ranked. Let me know what you think about the rankings down in the comments below. If there's any you would change based off of what you've seen, or if you've had any chance to play the early access yourself as well. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, as we'll be making tons more Marvel Rivals Season 4 content and beyond. And thank you very much for watching.